Lucky Luke is a Western comic series created by a Belgian cartoonist named m.a.d.e, or also known as Morris. The entire series takes place in the Wild West and stars Lucky Luke. Lucky Luke is one of the best known and one of the best selling comic series in all of Europe. So of course, when properties get that popular, there's going to be live action adaptations, cartoons, and even games. The one we're going to be looking at today was recommended to me.
What's wrong with you?
Lucky Luke on the PS1 by Ocean Software, who is later merged into Infogrames. And by looking at some of the reviews, this begs the question: is Lucky Luke the worst platformer ever made? Well, I played through the entire game on my own and beat it, so I'm going to go through the game each level at a time and show you my experience with the game. We launch the game and get shown a glorious PS1 CG cutscene. Lucky Luke, to summarize, is basically about the Dalton brothers escaping prison, getting up to no good, and Luke stopping them and then bringing them back to prison. The game plot here is no different. I'm not sure how no one noticed all this dynamite in their prison cell, but what do I know? Obviously, since no one noticed this, they escape and the game begins. The CG here is, well, it's obviously dated, but for PS1 times, it didn't really look that bad. It's honestly kind of funny and has a decent bit of charm put into it. I've seen way worse. The title screen is pretty simple for a title screen. You have your start game and options. But if you wait a bit, you get a demo of the game, which is some dude playing the game, which is fine. There are several demos that can load, but in this one, the dude's missing every single shot. Did he fall asleep on his controller or something? What is this? What is he doing? Anyway, we hit start game and launch the first level. And to be honest, this doesn't look that bad. Dare I even say it looks kinda good. Lucky Luke himself is animated very well. Like it looks like Lucky Luke. It looks like the comic was turned into 3D. They did a really good job of this. He even has his signature back shot.
Don't say it.
I'm honestly pretty impressed so far. Though even though I praise the graphics, I think something's slightly off. If I had to take a logical guess at what that is, I think it's that some of the 2D sprites, like the pickups, don't really mesh well with the rest of the art style. It makes the game feel cheap. Heck, there are some random enemies and items that just decide to be 2D for some reason. Like this enemy could have been 3D, but instead they chose 2D tweening. Sometimes it looks alright, like in this level here, but other times it doesn't. But other than that, this is a really good art style adaptation from the comics, so I'm pretty positive about it so far. But we get into the game and the jump button is square. I am no longer impressed. Square is not a good button for jump. It feels weird. I know a lot of popular games like Tomb Raider had this as the jump button, but man, just use X. Though luckily, in this game, you can go into the options and swap it so it is X, which is really awesome. But I only found this out after I beat the game. Overall though, it actually doesn't control that bad. It's just kind of basic. Like it works, it's nothing impressive. It's nothing really special here. But once you get accustomed with the controls a bit, you walk up to these crates and it zooms into this sign. But if you run past the sign, it just zooms out, which is really weird because if you walk back into the spot where it zoomed in, it might not zoom in. It has a mind of its own. This sign is kind of hard to read, but it basically is trying to tell you that you can shoot metal objects in the game and stuff will happen. Though I've just realized now, this and maybe 2 other levels are the only time you shoot metal objects. But you get past that, you walk to the next roadblock to another sign you can't read.
I can't read.
Which all this sign is saying is that you can shoot ropes and then whatever's holding the rope will fall down. Now this one actually does happen in a lot of the platforming levels, but that's basically all the game tells you, which is a huge complaint I have about the game, which we'll get into later. The gun you can shoot has infinite ammo, thank God, so you can just spam it anywhere or just spam it at enemies because this game does have its fair share of enemies. Pretty much all of them die in one hit. They're not really too bad or difficult to get rid of, but they can also shoot you. However, their bullets are really hard to see. Like there's no way I can see that.
I can't see that.
We make it to this, I assume this is a sheriff's building with a dynamite in it, but we can't get into it. We come back here later. We walk all the way to the right and we see a dog. This dog is named Rantanplan, which I definitely messed up the pronunciation of. He is the prison guard dog. Walking into him is basically a checkpoint, but very close to him, we find a key in this building. And this is where the biggest issue of this game's platforming levels come in. The level design themselves. The platforming levels in this game come in two variants: extremely linear like this first level, or a maze. There is a bit of an in-between in some of the levels where they're both linear and a maze at the same time. We'll go over those later. As I said, the first level is extremely linear, so after we get the key, we have to go all the way back to the sheriff building. And then after we open up the sheriff building, we go all the way back to where we got the key. There is a lot of backtracking in this game, which is kind of a downer. But once we get to the end of the level, we use the dynamite we got and the level is complete. I know I just complained about this level, but I'm actually kind of enjoying the game so far.
What?
The art style is great, the animation of everything happening is great, the puzzles are alright, but the only bad part so far is the actual level design of the platforming levels themselves. But anyway, once we beat this level, we get to a boss. These games' levels can be summarized as two different things: platforming and minigames. The minigames can be pretty good to downright horrible, and this is one of them. You have to hit back logs being thrown at you with a frying pan.
I would do a skit at that exact scenario, but I would die.
You push circle to hit the log back, but the hitbox is incredibly small. So small that you have to be very close to the log, or else you might just get hit. And let's say you actually manage to hit the log, it might not even hit the guy on the way back. He might just randomly decide to dodge it, so you can be here for a while. And because of how long this takes and how annoying it is to actually hit the log, I die here doing this. And I get hit with the realization that it's one of those games. Game over. Restart the entire game. But I make it back to the boss. I die a few more times, but I finally get him down. After beating the boss, we get shown this screen here of stuff being sold to us. Remember those money sprites I hated? Well, this is what they are for. You can buy a password to skip to this level if you get a game over or something, or you can just stockpile on lives. Personally, I would have preferred the option to just save your game, but that's just me. Honestly, I just stockpiled on lives. I didn't find this game too hard, minus a couple of the levels we get to. Plus, we're in the age of the internet, so if the game gets really bad, I could just look up a password.
Cry about it.
On to the next level, we actually get a cutscene with a voice actor that really doesn't sound bad.
Lucky Luke and Jolly Jumper are quietly trotting along when they see a man in the distance who is tied up.
I feel personally that if this was in the first level at the start, it would have had a much better presentation. But the first level kind of feels cheap in some places, but maybe that's just me. But we're not talking about that level. We're talking about the second level, and we have a minigame here. All you have to do is just ride the horse and dodge the objects. That's it. After a bit of dodging, the camera will transition to a side view of the train. I don't know why, but I'm really obsessed with this transition. I think it looks very good. Anyway, once you're at the side view, you have to just mash the shoot button and shoot the enemies. It's not really hard, but again, it's annoying to see their bullets when they shoot back at you. Other than that, honestly, it's a pretty fun minigame. It's pretty generic, but it's still kind of fun. But once you get to the front of the train, the level ends, and we actually get a bonus game here.
You cheating motherfucker.
I believe to unlock a bonus game, you just have to collect all the bees around a level, though this is the only time I really did that. In this minigame, you just shoot the bottles that are thrown at you, and you don't want to shoot anything that's living. This is honestly really fun and looks really good because when you shoot the background, it actually explodes. It feels good to shoot things. Though unfortunately, this is the only time this ever happens, which is a shame because it shows they know how to use these effects. But once you get enough bottles, you get money based on how many bottles you shot. This is honestly, again, a really fun bonus game, and there's a couple of other bonus games in this game as well. Unfortunately, I just got this one, but here's a bunch of screenshots of the other ones you can get. They all look really fun. I'm honestly impressed with the variation here. I really cannot believe I am having fun.
Stop having fun.
Next level, we actually jump onto the train itself, and it's pretty simple. It's just a straight line with maybe a bunch of obstacles you have to jump over. That's really it. You do have to jump into the train sometimes and shoot the enemies and rescue the hostages, but that's about it. The point of this level is to rescue all the hostages, but I don't even think you need to do that to get to the final boss, as you can just walk up to him. But anyway, you get to the end and you fight a boss. All you have to do is shoot the bombs back at him. I always love the sound these guys make. For the next level, we just get asked to collect the moon pearls. Surely this won't be that bad.
This level's horrible.
I was having an alright time with this game. Sure, this wasn't like Crash Bandicoot or Spyro, but I was having a decent time. Until this level happened. Why did this have to happen? The goal of this level is to find 10 moon pearls, and they are hidden around this massive level. This level is huge, but once you get them all, you just turn them into the doctor. A huge level would be like whatever if you can tell where you are, but here's the issue. There are doors everywhere, and you can go through every single one of them, and you cannot tell where you come out of. It doesn't help that the screen turns black, so it doesn't even move the camera to where you are. It just turns black and then comes back. Who knows where you will be? And also, ghosts come out of the door that you need to get in, so you are most likely going to be attacked. And worst of all, there are bottomless pits everywhere that one-shot you. This level feels like a way to drain all the lives you accumulated. You can't even use your gun. This level is horrible. This level is miserable, so I quit.
I'm just gonna play Dig Dug now.
But there is still more game left, and I promised you, dear viewers, that I will play it all. So I just go to the password screen and I input the password. The password system here is pretty simple. It's just 4 icons. That's not that bad. Anyway, the next level is the mines, which I personally think is probably one of the best levels. My only issue with this level is that there are random rocks that'll fall on you, and it's really hard to see where they come from. I might have another issue as well, but this didn't really happen to me. This level is ginormous. It could be considered a maze, but at the same time, you're kind of just going in one direction the entire time. It's pretty simple where you have to go. I feel like if you make the wrong jump, you could easily get lost here, but it wasn't really too hard to find your way back to the right track. This is a precise platforming level. There are precision jumps everywhere. Not only that, there are also spikes that try and impale you. You have to get your timings down to a T. This is a level to test your skill so far.
The only skill that I know is I can shove my entire fist down my mouth.
It's not too hard, but it is a really good difficulty increase. The goal here is simple. You just need to find these gears which activate the moving platforms. The moving platforms allow you to get to other floors in the level. When you get to the other floors, you can find these levers. I now have another complaint. I could not tell these were levers. I accidentally ran into one and it flipped. I would not have realized these were levers if that didn't happen. But anyway, while you're doing this, you're also going to come across keys. The keys allow you to open doors that let you get to the end of the level. And once you get to the end of the level's complete. See, it's not too bad. This level made me realize 2 things. The atmosphere in this level is amazing. Heck, not even this level. Some of the other levels are really good too, but let's listen in on this one. And as I was saying, the other levels are really good too. It really shines on the Wild West feel with this country music. It's really good in this game. This level also made me realize one more thing. It made me find the health bar. I was looking for this health bar my entire playthrough, but I could not find it. Take a guess where it is. It is behind his head. It is the wooden planks. That is incredibly weird. Why is it that? But like I was saying, get the key, get to the end. It's just the right amount of difficult while not being infuriating to play. I am happy. But then I realized there's only one more level with good level design. I am sad. This boss fight after the mine level is brilliant. You have these penis flatteners.
What is wrong with you?
And they try and crush you. You just have to shoot this machine here and they stop the crushing and dispense whatever these are. These look like water bottles? Whoopee cushions? I have no clue what these are, but when you jump on them, they squirt water out. You just have to hit the boss with the water. Pretty simple. This fight is kind of a joke once you realize you can just keep shooting the machine and you'll never get the flatteners trying to flatten you. This can be hectic though if you can't really get to the machine, but overall a pretty good boss fight. Still pretty fun even though it can be really easy. In the next level, we need to find the totem poles, 4 of them. This level's a straight line again, except you start in the middle of this line. There are 2 totem poles to the left, 2 totem poles to the right. Once we get them all, we just have to go back into the middle. So that's more backtracking. Honestly, this level has 2 major issues. The backtracking and whatever this is. This makes me sick. This is nauseating. Why would you ever think that waving around the level in a weird way is a good idea? This is annoying.
I love acid.
There is an item in this level you can get to stop it, but it only stops it for a small bit of time. And from my experience, there's only 1 of these on each side. Luckily though, this effect doesn't happen all the time either. This really didn't need to happen. I understand what they were going for with this level being like a hallucination level, but like, come on. It sucks because this level has some fun mechanics too, like this tornado you can jump in to do this spinning jump, or this fire that makes smoke clouds, which is pretty cool. This level has a lot of cool mechanics, but this nauseating effect is just really annoying and drags down the experience. Not to mention, this level still has backtracking. And if you can't find a totem, you're going to be backtracking a lot. This level made me realize there's no fall damage in this game. I thought there was because he makes this really weird moaning sound when you jump from high up. But you don't take any damage. Why does he do that? But after that level, we get a fighting game level. I have thousands of hours in fighting games, so I am made for this.
Why won't it work?
This is horrible. As previously mentioned, the game doesn't really tell you how to play, but it is fairly simple this time. You can kind of figure it out by yourself. You push square to punch, you push down and square to do a low punch, and you push circle to block. There really isn't a strategy here. You just kind of mash the buttons and pray. A couple fights in, they start blocking you more, so if they start blocking your normal jab, you just do a down jab instead. That seems to have worked for me most of the time. I mean, I beat the game using it, so. After 3 fights, you win, and you learn that the escapee went to a waterfall. So away we go. This waterfall level kind of feels like the Moon Pearl level, but it's actually more bearable. It's a huge linear level like the mine level where you just have to find gold nuggets. Once you get them all, you just have to go all the way back to the start and trade them in for a key. Once you get the key, you just go to the end of the level. Pretty simple stuff. There's nothing really new in this level we haven't already seen already. There are these enemies that drop bombs from these hideouts, but that's pretty much it. After we do that, the next is a minecart level. We love these in platformers, so this should be a great time.
It's not.
This could have been really good. This could have been a lot of fun. But with the way the camera's positioned, it's really hard to see what's in front of you, and it makes it hard to avoid things. And every single time, the thing you're trying to avoid will instantly kill you. You can lean left and right to grab stuff off the rail, or you can use it to grind on a rail when there's only one rail on the track left. You're also able to jump as well for when there's no track left. I kept dying at the start for a bit at the same exact spot because I didn't realize holding X speeds you up. It doesn't look like it, but it actually does speed you up, which again, the game doesn't tell you how to play. Anyway, you just have to get to the end of the level under a certain time limit while avoiding all the holes. After that, we get challenged to a duel. We have to cut down a tree, which again, it doesn't tell you how to play, which is actually annoying for this one. You have to consecutively push square and circle to increase your gauge. Once your gauge is full, you push triangle to chop. The next game controls the same, but instead you just hit a bell, but it's pretty much the exact same thing. And then after that, he gets mad and you go into a fighting game one last time and you beat him. The minigame is maybe like fun once or twice, but after that, it's kind of boring. Not to mention the fighting part sucks. I lost a couple times trying to figure out the controls for this level, which I said before is a huge problem with the game. However, this game actually does tell you how to play. I have been lying.
You liar.
It shows you how to play in the manual. I understand back then it probably wasn't that big of a deal, but nowadays it's kind of annoying. But after that, we move on to the last level. It's the first level, but it's at night, and it's not a platforming level, it's a rail shooter, which is a lot of fun. But it could be better. It is incredibly easy. You just mash circle to shoot, and there's barely any enemies that come out and try and stop you. I wish it was a bit harder considering this is the last level. And I also wish shooting stuff had a reaction to your bullets, like maybe if you shoot the barrel will explode. Or maybe if you shoot a piece of glass like a window, it'll shatter. And we know they can do this because they did it in the bonus game we played. The final boss is kind of annoying. You move up and down to dodge the bombs he throws at you, and you also jump onto different platforms to avoid them as well. All you have to do is shoot the hay barrel while it's in front of him, and you just need to do that enough times and you win. The main issue is you have to be very precise moving left or right. There are 2 paths, one where you can move up and down and one where you can move left and right. If you push left or right on the path where you move up and down, then you only move up and down. This makes this very annoying to control, but that's really the only issue with this fight. And once he's down, that's the game. We get our glorious CG cutscene of them being sent back to prison, and Luke does his classic thing going off to the sunset, and that, my friends, is the whole game. But now we answer the faithful question at the start of this video. Is Lucky Luke the worst platformer ever made?
It was disappointing.
Yes, it was disappointing, but not because it was bad, but because this game was actually kinda good. I enjoyed my time with this. I think this is a good game to give a kid and he'll still have a good time with it and have fond memories with it. My disappointment comes from the fact that this could have been way better. This game has a lot of jank to it, which is the main issue. The level design is all over the place. It can be good sometimes to sometimes to horrible sometimes. Same with the minigames. There's a lot of variation in this game to the minigames games to just where Lucky Luke is. There's a lot of different things you can do here, and I'm disappointed that it wasn't better. It's not bad, but it's just kind of okay. I feel like the biggest positive the game has is this is Lucky Luke. It feels like this just came right out of the comic or the animated show. They nailed the art style and the animation of these characters. They look amazing, and this was all done on the PlayStation 1. You can also tell that there was a lot of charm put into this game. Like, look at this money making the funny sound. This happens a lot in this game, and they didn't need to do this, but it's funny. Overall, this is not the worst platformer ever made. It is far from it. Dare I say, this is a pretty decent game, but that's all it is, just kinda decent. I would rather just play a better platformer at the end of the day. But after all this, there's only one more thing I have to say. If Lucky Luke and John Marston got into a fight, Lucky Luke would win.
And I mean it.